Okay, we're back on the block with Frontier Opening Bell. It's Monday, the 25th of September. And of course, you know, this is how the month is getting wrapped up. This is the final full business and markets week in the second month of the third quarter. Let's get on, look at the markets, 1.39% downside to the Nigerian stock market on Friday. The market also fell Thursday. 2 straight weeks, the market's down. And that is no good news. Again, Nigeria is battling a whole lot on the fiscal and monetary policy side. The monetary policy meeting is scheduled for September 25th and 26th. Today and tomorrow has been cancelled, as you already know. And there is no definite date as to when the new team of the central bank will hold that meeting. The market is not really happy with that development. So you've got the Naira down last week. The stock market stumbled. Yields go higher, and the market was a bit nervous as to what happens next. But let's look at the BRVA. That's the big West African markets based in Cote d'Ivoire. The composite index up by 13 basis points Friday. The Egyptian stock market started the new week on Sunday with 0.66% to the upside. That's holding the 20,000 level. The Nairobi stock market fell by 14 points at 96.79 Friday, while the JSE up by roughly 0.25%. Those are market numbers. What's it looking like starting from today on the business and economic news? Uganda says international budget support for the country is likely to dip by 99% in this next fiscal years. Again, on the back of the World Bank shutting the doors on President Museveni's administration as far as funding is concerned because of the country's anti-gay law, which prescribes the death penalty. Rwanda is reporting growth slowing down to about 6.3% in the second quarter ended June, while President Ruto in Kenya is calling for debt relief, a 10-year grace on sovereign debt. That was part of his message to the global community at the UN General Assembly and the roadshows held last week in the United States. Good news for Algerian Airlines starting last Friday. Direct flights to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. While this week we're looking at Kenya and Uganda inflation report. That will be at the end of the week. Keep those dates in number. We have a whole lot more on the economic news this week from Lesotho's central bank rate decision, as well as inflation data and South Africa's PPI. Let's move on to West Africa and Nigeria with Olayemi Cardoso and 4 deputy governors sworn in Friday to resume as acting head and deputy governors at the central bank. The initial news was that they have been nominated according to the presidency and will await Senate confirmation, but things moved on rapidly. They were sworn into office on Friday and started acting in the office. What they will do next is anyone's guess. Today is the first official day in office for Olayemi Cardoso, who's now effectively replacing Godwin Emefiele, the central bank governor who was suspended and still in detention since June under the President Bola Tinubu's administration. I mentioned earlier that the Naira slumped last week, strongly trading about 1,000 Naira to the dollar on Market Street. The stock market slumped for 2 consecutive weeks, while yields rise on federal government securities because the central bank cancelled its monetary policy meeting. The market has no clarity right now as to what interest rate direction would be. There's going to be likely another a policy meeting in the new month of October. But again, you've got November also to deal with, which is scheduled to be the final monetary policy decision for the year. Next door in Ghana, the Bank of Ghana, Ernest Addison, is expected later today to announce the decision of the Bank of Ghana's interest rate decision. According to news, second quarter GDP moderate at 3.2% for Ghana. That's something to watch very closely. We'll have that in the news for you. Access Core, operating not just in Nigeria, but across a number of African countries, reporting first half pre-tax profits surging 71.39% January to June. That's some good news. Later today, 2 p.m. Nigerian time, Access Core says it's going to hold an audio investors call to put facts behind the figures of its first half 2023 earnings. Keep an eye on that. If you're interested, get on the line and listen to details of the latest earnings. And Cameroon has slammed a 10-year ban, not just in Cameroon, but the entire Central African region, which comprises of 6 countries, French-speaking, against the Director General of a Small and Medium Enterprises Bank, Ms. Mandeng. She's been accused of misdemeanors within the financial system in Cameroon, and she's now been slammed with a 10-year ban. Let's touch on with Southern Africa, shall we? Of course, I mentioned Lesotho's interest rate decision by the central bank this week. South Africa's producer price inflation is also on tap in the current week. We've got Zambia inflation on tap, as well as Mozambique also in the news. So you got to watch out for a raft of economic data starting from tomorrow, the 26th of September till Friday. In the meantime, South Africa's Reserve Bank is looking to float a new cooperative bank in 2024. That's going to be a new one, addition to the financial supermarket that South Africa has. The GSE listed Salt Asset Management has gotten its operational license withdrawn by the FSCA due to failure to meet anti-money laundering financial misconduct issues, and that's no good news for this organization, Asset Management. Getbox MFB is a microfinance bank listed on Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, has deleted from the boss. Malawi says it's got about $174 million loan under the IMF Extended Credit Facility, or the EFF. That's some good news for the Southern African country that's seen some pressure due to climate-related challenges in recent times. And as far as the world ranking of sustainable development goals concerned, a new report released by the United Nations at UNGA last week showed that Africa is at the bottom of the pyramid. Tunisia ranks first, 85th position globally among 166 countries ranked. South Africa is ranked 100th, and one of those are at the bottom, including other countries such as Nigeria. So let's finish it off in North Africa with Tunisia, as I said earlier, is leading the continent as far as the sustainable development goals are concerned. Remember those 17 parameters that were set on education, nutrition, education, poverty reduction, and all of that. Tunisia is leading the continent in the latest survey. The Central Bank of Egypt has decided to leave interest rates unchanged, try to watch how the previous interest rate hikes looking to help support the economy. Morocco's has approved a 5% minimum wage increase, and that's good news for the workers in the North African country, while Algeria is looking to build its first solar power village, and that will support the country in terms of sustainable energy. And the EU is started paying Tunisia to curb irregular migration. Perhaps if certain funding goes to Tunisia, then using the country as across the Mediterranean to get migrants to get into Europe could be curbed. So it's one of the latest efforts to stop the rate at which migrants cross the Mediterranean illegally from Tunisia and a few other North African countries into Europe. And those are some of the headlines we're focusing on this Monday. Keep it here on Frontier Africa Reports. I am Bolson Amofe. I'll see you in the rest of the week. Bye for now.